most guys know that I'm a GM guy, but my wife likes the Fords. And I've got a video up with an experience with an F-150 engine failure with hydrolock where an 1/8" hole cost me about 8,000 bucks for an engine. And here I'm working on my 2013 Ford Escape. And I got about 80-some thousand miles on it, and it's time. I've had no issue with it, none whatsoever. Great car. It's the 2-liter, it's the turbo EcoBoost, it's the all-wheel drive, IntelliDrive or whatever it's called. Great in the snow here in the Midwest. Acting and performing very well. But, and there always is a but, right? I've noticed that there's a growling in the rear end, in the rear diff. So while I exchanged the transfer case and transmission and all the fluids forward, now I'm working my way aft. And I have to tell you, I've never seen such a stupid design of anything ever as I have here. Now, if you read about exchanging rear differential, diff for short, oil, there's no clear answer. There's no clear, decisive answer. So what I've had to do here to even see what's going on is to cut the tailpipe and the muffler assembly out as to afford me a means of even seeing what's going on here. Hang on, I'm going to show you. Okay, now I'm back and I'm going to try and do this to show you what I mean to back up that statement. And I don't lose easily. I'm pretty adept at this stuff. And I'm actually trying to show you, and I'm not going to probably be able to do this, the rear differential plug. You'll see the vent hole is there. And look, it's going to be impossible to video this because I can't even see it with the naked eye. You have to feel it. That's where the fill plug is. And look at, who's the genius here? Here's the canister purge, the charcoal vapor canister to collect the purged gases with regard to this example off the evap system. And where they're stored and then drawn in and sent through the catalytic converter. So what, basically the HC and the CO or whatever, I don't know, I'm not a chemist, it's what? Basically water when it comes out of the tailpipe to meet emissions. In the perfect world, getting this plug out with all these gussets right in front of it is near impossible. I had to modify and cut a T-30 socket, a Torx, which will fit both these plugs. So I pull the side plug out and I pull the plug on the top of the pig out that I can't show you because it can't be seen, only felt. And again, the reason I had to chop the Torx bit down is because of the room or lack thereof. It's 3/4 of an inch from the purge tank. Now how is that a fill? I mean, I thought, my gosh, I can just spot a hole in the floor here or something, like a newer type fuel pump module where you pop up a back seat and there's a carpet and you take a plate off like the Japs have done for years in the way they engineer things, which is, let's face it, a lot better than this. And service my rear end. So cut the chase, having pulled this plug out, I got nothing. I put my finger in there, what little I can, and I still got nothing. And I have blown out nothing but a black snot in my drain pan down here. Very concerning to me. I'm told that it holds about 2 plus quarts of A.W. 90, which I have. But, I want to put back in what I'm getting out, and I'm not getting anything out. I'm just making a mess. Then I have to, again, cut off this pipe and get a coupling and make a transition is in itself utterly ridiculous. But whose better idea is this? That's my point. This doesn't actually have a rear end pig per se, nor are these bearings, you can see these axle boots here, these bearings in a normal sense or on earlier cars had a pig, and these bearings shared the bathtub, if you will, in the rear end tunnel. That's not the case here. These are dry pressed in bearings. I may or may not have an issue with those, and I just reline the brakes, you know. So again, I'm just being proactive and looking at this thing. And I'll tell you what, turns out my intuition is right. Oh, you'll never have to service that. That's lifetime. Never have to touch it. There's nothing to see here. My ass, with all due respect. And look, I love the car, but this is ridiculous. I mean, I'd have to pull off this whole rear end subframe. You can see there's a gusset here and another here, along with these whole control arms on both the shocks, to take this whole member here out. And you know, here's another blunder. When you do pull the plug out of the top of the pig that you can't see, in this example, which is a nightmare to get out, you go to put a hose in it to sucker it out, and you're on top of the pinion. I mean, you can't get it in, you can't get it beside it. I can't even get down, if you will, into the bathtub. So even with a very small hose like this one here, for example, it's like they use in hospitals. Every time I go in the doctor's office, I'll grab, you know, a set of these or something, or little funnels for the trains are used to and stuff, to try to sucker the fluid out, you know, and then put again back in the same amount I'm taking out. And I'm finding out that this rear end is basically dry into a muddy paste. But my God, what I did blow out was about 4 big tablespoons of just black muck. And that's very concerning to me. So I think I'm right and correct in being proactive. But there's no way to win here. So I thought, well, maybe I could spot a hole here in this flat plate and perhaps drill a hole and chase a thread. But I'm scared to do that. I mean, I'm going to get a fiber or whatever, a metal shaving in there. I don't want to ruin the deal. I don't even think I have any warranty left. It's probably $360 with the 3 year 60,000. And anyway, I'm going to take it in the bud here if I don't do something. So again, love the car. Don't want to complain. Don't mean to be, down on Ford. But come on, that's ridiculous. That's the most utterly ridiculous thing I've seen, and I've been a wrench for over 40 years. If you had to change a canister purge tank in this thing, you got to pull the whole rear subframe out. Boy, that's something that somebody must have engineered and said, well, hell, that'll never happen. And how many examples have we seen of never that are a given, you know? And I'm here now, and you're seeing proof thereof. So I don't like never. And sure enough, I'm right. So I'm going to get down to brass tacks here. Love the IntelliDrive, love the EcoBoost, no problems, no issues whatsoever, no oil leaks even on this car with, again, about 80,000 miles on it. Love the body, it's not rusted at all, and the harsh Midwest salt is something that I keep up on, and you know, all the way to my trailer hitch. Everything's nice and clean. It's a well done design. You know, the brakes, geez, that's pretty good. I mean, there's a feather in the hat. I mean, almost what, 85,000 miles I think I'm nearing. And the first time I've ever had to put brakes on it. And great in the snow and all the rest of it. But come on, Ford, what are you doing here? What are you doing? For God's sake, put a tube in it and have a passageway in the floor or something. And put a plug on the bottom of the pig here, like you know you should. Look at the room it's waiting for, right there where that label is. That's 100% flat. So those of you with escapes, I'm telling you, I mean, listen, I mean, I know I'm onto something here. There's a skunk in the woodpile. And I don't like mysteries. They give me a bellyache, and I got a beauty right now, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this and get some oil in this diff. And hopefully there'll be no problem. And what little noise I am hearing, you know, it's almost normal. But, you know, my ear is attuned to it. And, again, it's a little bit of a mystery, and I don't even like an iota of doubt. I don't even do mysteries. So that's very disconcerting to me. I need to have and will find resolve here with this. Okay, here's another thought. You know any doctors? Good. Even if there's one in the family, befriend he or she. Because what I have here is, I think, a tracheotomy tube. And it's got a hard 90 on it, and I've got it up in that differential case. And I've still got the side plug out, and I put my mirror in front of it as a kind of a baffle so I won't blow fluid all over the place. But it seems to me that that's the only means of trying to get the old fluid out of there. So you know, I mean, gently, as not to hurt the seals, you know, use shop air with a blowgun and try and blow it out. This is just crazy. And again, what I've got coming out of there is like a black snot. You know, I mean, it's not. Look at that. That's not good. I don't like that at all. So I guess necessity is the mother of all invention as I take on the challenge. I mean, the muffler was a little bit too much reality as it was, and okay, you can see what a mess I'm talking about here. And I've got my mirror in front of that drain plug way up there. I won't have to ever oil the hinge on that mirror again. And I'm just blowing this out because I can't vac it out, and I can't get entry in the side to do that same task. There's no way. There's no way. And boy, from what I'm seeing, the fruits of my labor are going to be a good thing here, because Proactive and I go together. And when I get some good diff oil in there, I'll sail down the highway feeling much better, and hopefully I won't have so much noise in that same thought, and I'll be a lot happier. But not your greatest hour, Ford. Don't know what you're thinking on this one. Why don't you put a plug here where you know it belongs? You know, is anyone watching this? Come on, ridiculous. Have a plug on the side, have a plug on the bottom. We've had it for years. So look, here's how you'll have to fashion, if you so dare, to take that plugs plural, the side plug and the top plug. This is a T-30 Torx, and I cut it in half. Big deal. I mean, you can get them at the grocery store checkout line, Torx sockets. But the point being, and this is even tight, is that's what you end up with a quarter drive ratchet to get that top plug out. Because again, that vapor canister is an inch away from that rear end pig. And a 1/4 inch wrench on this shank alone, it won't work. I broke a snap-on wrench. I'm a testimonial. This is what you got to do. You got to get a hex head on it. I don't know if they make, but I haven't seen one. Or a 1/4 inch breaker bar would be ideal. But that's the hot shit right there to get that plug out. And you can see my tracheotomy tube that I made. That's made out of, I don't know, a hard plastic, or almost, I don't know, maybe it's even glass. That's how I was able to fill it. And I got about 1/4 in it, but I know I didn't get 1/4 out of it. I'm sure of that. There's not 1/4 in there. I mean, you know, it's just a mess. So what I did is I put that trach tube in the fill plug on the top of the pig with the plug off the side, and gently blew the whole environment out. Put some oil in it and blew that environment out again. Put the side plug in, pumped 1 quart in, and then took off the side plug as to assure myself that, yeah, the tub is full. Because when I started to take the side plug out, it just started to run out. And I'm going to assume that is, you know, you don't want to fill that environment full of fluid. And there is, again, a vent tube on it, but it'll create a vacuum, and I'll be sure that vent tube is clean. And you know, I did read that the 15s, I'm not sure, could even be the 14s. This is a 2013 Escape. Have a pig plug and a fill plug. So you know you made a mistake here. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I'm sorry, I don't believe it when any lube shop or anyone, unless I mean, somebody look at, oh yeah, you're all set. Sorry, I don't think so. No, not all this. It's nearly impossible. And man, to take this whole subframe out for that, to take the shocks off, to take the gussets out, to take the propeller shaft out, as to lower that, and then maybe remove the vapor canister purge tank, for what? You know, that's what I said to myself, being my own critic. What's that going to afford me? The idea here is, in other words, it's both a fill and a, you know, I guess it's a fill plug. I mean, then the side plug tells you when the tub, so to speak, or the pig is full. But my point is that, okay, you take out the fill plug, and what little you can find out that you read about with any text regarding, you know, the topic, you know, well, you sucker it out there. Yeah, well, how? I mean, I put my hose all the way in, and it'll only go in a couple inches, and it won't even begin to go down to where I want to extract that oil because the pinion's in the way. The pig is way far back, 5-6 inches further back than where the fill plug is, right where the propeller shaft enters the pig itself. Maybe that's a good way to explain it. So, you know, how are you going to do that? So it's just a mess all the way around, but I don't know what to tell anybody to do. And I don't do videos on cars, but, you know, this is a game changer. I mean, you know, this isn't so bad. I'll get a 2 1/4 inch clamp or transition, and I made a nice square cut here, and I can transition that muffler right back in, and these are easy to bolt up, you know, both the saddles. Well thought out, a great design. As is, you know, the whole car, but I don't like noises, and I think I know why I heard one now. So when I drive it, the proof's going to be in the pudding. So again, my point here is that from again what I've read, one can pull out the top plug, again, which you can't see but only feel, put a hose in, and evacuate the fluid from the rear end. I disagree adamantly. I say no, it can't be done. And in that example, were I to be able to do that, what I was talking about was with, say for example, this little pistol here. It's called a mighty gun. And there's a reservoir here, and you can measure exact fluid withdrawal and have it measured and put back exactly what you took out. But even with the smallest examples of airline or hose, or I mean, look, what are you going to put in there? 1/8 inch tubing? You can't get down. You know, the rear end plugs up here, and then you have to go down in the bathtub, so to speak, in this pig. And the plug's up here, and then you hit the pinion, there it is, or the output shaft is, when you need to get the hose back to here. Won't work. So all I'm saying is that, look, even cars where they don't have a dipstick, for example, and I think this is one of them, with regard to tranny fill, have a plug on the top of the tranny, a little difficult to find, and you know, you can if you did have a leak, you can, you know, it's a sealed sphere, or it's supposed to be. You can at least add to it if you do have a mishap or a problem, or you do want to exchange it, as I already have done with this, again, 2013 Ford Escape all-wheel drive 2-liter turbo EcoBoost example. Say that quick 3 times. So let's get the muffler back up and see what we get. Okay, so in the final stage, you can see I've got that pipe patch now in place, and what I did is I tacked that pipe with a weld, and then after that, just to be sure that all the geometry with the outlets and so on are correct. And again, all you need to do is take down these hangers on both sides to do that. If you don't, I don't see how you're going to even get to phase 1, and that's impossible as it is. So now we'll drive it and see what happens. Okay, as I try to video this, you know, they say a clean car always runs better. Maybe a lot of this is in my head, you know, but it already seems quieter. As I barrel down the road here with the reline brakes and that rear diff now all set. So, you know, again, love the car, great product. You know, I'm open-minded, and geez, I was wrong that my odometer is 88,800. So, geez, that's almost 90,000 miles for the ceramic brake linings in that alone. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's great service. So, I mean, praise where praise need be, you know, in that remark. And, you know, what a great handling car. Just a great everything. But I don't like something I can't have an eye on. And, gee, give me one dumb reason why you wouldn't at least want to keep an eye on that fluid level. So, again, as I understand it, that's now been corrected. But I'm a casualty of a situation here, and I'm uneasy with that situation. But at least I have peace of mind. And now that I've got that rear end full, this is a bumpy road, I'll keep my eye on it. And, you know, again, like the clean car, it already seems nicer. But mine is just that, the peace of mind in knowing that, you know, everything is as good as it can be. So there's a peace of mind you can't put a price on. Because, again, I am a proactive guy. So, again, in some sense of finality, I don't know how to tell you to evacuate the rear end and draw the fluid out. In this example, look, I couldn't do it. No matter what I tried to do. I even thought of putting a thin copper line in. But, you know, geez, what if I couldn't get it back out? Just trying to shove it in there, you know, down in the tub in that differential pit. And again, being that the bearings are dry, so to speak, or a sealed bearing for the carrier bearings, which again, in a normal example, in a conventional rear end, would share that same bathtub, again, to coin a phrase, with the other three pinion bearings in the main pig, where the ring gear and so on are, is not the case here. Those output shafts again have a boot so they can articulate over bumps and so on, and have a dry or a sealed bearing, and that's what I'm after here. So in the end, I got an acceptable thing here, but you know, it could just be a characteristic of this platform. But you know, I had a guy in the back seat. We were going out to dinner the other night. Hey, your rear end's going out, huh? And you could hear it, you know, and I don't like that. And that's the straw that broke the camel's back. I think, again, in this example, look, it's as dry as a wishbone, or was back there, that it just was never properly filled from the factory, or the level per se was not correct. That's what I have to believe, because I got nothing out of it. So this is a good thing for me. Again, I'll check that level, and I'll do it with that side plug, which again is literally impossible to get out. So yeah, great car, great fit, great feel, great drive, just nothing but great. But here's, you know, look, and this, like I said earlier, it's always a but, and that's the case here. So there it is.